first time in 5 years, Happy versus Lin with the clan tags as well. The nostalgia is real. Best of 3. Who claims the first points for their team? Lost Temple. We have Lin representing World Elite, just like he did in 2007-ish. And we got Happy, just like at the beginning of his career, representing Mouse Sports at the tippity top.
12 o'clock spawn for Happy, 8 o'clock spawn for Lin. This is actually decent for Happy's expansion and not so decent for Lin's expansion, but Lin could go to the bottom 6 o'clock if he wanted to creep that. We saw Fly recently go for that Great Hall early on tier 1. Very, very conducive to a macro game here.
All right, the past encounter was a clear 5-0 in the grand final, but Lin also played 3 insanely long series that day. Today, everybody is fresh, and of course, the conditions are way different. For the past 5 years, these guys played on 100+ ping against each other. And this time, it's all different. Same conditions. And I hope both players are in good shape. You can see Happy's camera is a lot darker. He always complains about the light, so they shut him down. And Lin with the Blade Master, dude. I love to see that. Give me the big red numbers. Nowhere can you stack up the Blade Master as good as here on Lost Temple. And Happy, of course, is greedy for gold and wants that expo immediately.
So Lin goes for items, Happy goes for economy. This is pretty standard here. Lin will get at least 2 items from the center before Happy gets there. And Happy gets the safe, secure expansion. Lin has a couple of ways to counter this. Of course, the classic all-in style. You just go 2 Bestiary Raider, maybe a Fire Lord, something, try to break that expansion. Very unlike Lin. What's more like Lin is to go straight tier 3, Tiny Great Hall counter expansion. Or another option would be TC second, slow expansion on tier 2, which is more risky, but you have more sort of strategic leeway to play around that because you can go for mass raiders and still counter expand with the TC second.
Yeah, I never really liked it. Lin tried it so many times to get the tier 2 expansion running. I've rarely seen it work. And I feel like the tier 3 is way more exciting, way more successful. And speaking of successful, this Blade Master already very successful in the item hunt, claw, ring. But wow, Happy investing the coil for the poacher. Gets it done here. Both meet in the temple, but Lin doesn't want to engage yet.
Yeah, Lin just going to use that fountain a little bit to heal up. Happy pressures a tiny bit, scares Lin off creeping straight to level 3. Eventually, Lin should be able to get the center. He's just going to keep creeping items in the middle until that Shadowhunter comes out, and then Happy will not be able to contest the center. I'd be surprised if he can do much. For now, Happy, I think, is just content with getting his expansion up, which it will come up unharassed, but Lin almost tier 2. He has 2 grunts, or actually 3 grunts. One is still scouting for the spawn of Happy. Is he going to go for the center this early?
Ooh, wow, that would be something. We welcome Aurora Gaming here to our channel, who were just very surprised to see Happy under the mouse tag. That might be some consequences there, but that's not on us. We don't do the production. You probably have a direct line to Happy and can fix it. Maybe make it Mouse Aurora or Aurora Mouse. Or something. Grunts around it. That was rather easy for the Emperor. And we'll give the DK level 2.7. But yeah, Lin claims the middle. And you know what they say about the middle?
Whoever gets the middle wins the game?
Correcto. Finally, someone listening to my cast.
Does tend to be correct too, because when you get to the middle, you get level 3. Coil almost available, but now that null will heal up past the coil threshold, and Lin has to back away. TC second double bestiary. This is going to be 1, either an all-in with Shockwave, or 2, a very slow counter expansion, with which neither of us are fans of. I agree with you on that point.
Wonderful. You should always agree on me. With me.
Yes, sir.
On me as well.
Sir.
Yeah, I love that.
Both.
Yeah, Lin's game plan not really coming together. Happy just too fast. And the creeping in the middle too slow. Pretty unfortunate right now. And I don't know what Lin sees in this expansion. Like, make me a believer, Lin. Show me that this is working. Oh, that lasted.
Happy.
So good, dude.
Yeah, then this has to be Raiders. I'd be very surprised to see anything other than Raider production. If the TC can flow into level 3 quickly, which on Lost Temple it's very possible, you get immediately level 2 from that expansion, and then maybe he can pull the red and creep that. If you can push with 4 to 6 Raiders and level 3 Tauren Chieftain, it's very easy to break an expansion with any amount of towers. So that could be his game plan with a slow counter expansion behind this sort of a push, but he went Stomp first. I don't know what he's doing.
Dude, am I too pessimistic when I say that this early game is an utter disaster for Lin and nothing's coming together and Happy totally has his number?
No, I'm on the same page as you. I just feel like this map is so conducive to going Shadowhunter Tier 3. The Shadowhunter gives you the map control to guarantee the center creep. You go Tier 3 to get the Tiny Great Hall so it can't be canceled. You're pretty much on even economy because Undead invests so much early game into getting that early expansion that the Tiny Great Hall evens things up. I feel like this is the way to play it, but Lin is very smart, and he's very good. I just don't see it yet.
He's definitely smarter than we are. He definitely theory crafted this better than we could ever do. But yeah, so far, pretty passive. Stomp for creeping, counter expansion. Inventory for the Blade Master also looks pretty bleak. There's still items available in the temple. Happy going for a lot of fiends, also Lich, the classic. And so far, yeah, what can you do with this Blade Master now? Like harassing acolytes a little bit, stall time. He needs time.
Yeah, that is cool though, breaking off the 2 Raiders. Obviously, Raiders aren't great at creeping. Grunts are what help your second hero creep. He splits the Raiders off to his blade to pick off stragglers. Now Happy's going to be a little bit afraid to leave his base. And his Lich is about to be out, so Happy's going to have to be passive for a little bit just because Lin showed the Raiders, which is going to allow Lin to get that center camp finally.
Yeah, this also, of course, as you suggested, indicates that Lin wants to go for the bases with the Raiders, so Happy invested into Narrow Tower, Spirit Tower, a lot of investments there into static defense, but Lin is going for a creeping game. Oh, and he's going tier 3. This is a variation of his expansion play that he oftentimes played with only tier 2, which then never worked, but he's going Expo and tier 3 at the same time while being blocked at 40. This also means that the expansion has to come through or he's still gonna be stuck at 40.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, again, Lin knows what he's doing, but isn't just going straight to tier 3 and getting a Tiny Great Hall is pretty much the same speed, if not more efficient and less risky than this? But gold does go down.
Would agree with you. Wyvern in as well. Happy is only now starting Web.
He started it once he saw the Wind Rider. Lin has to defend this Great Hall or else the strategy is null. There's no point of the strat if he cannot defend this Great Hall at this timing, which it seems like he might be able to. Yeah, TP.
Wow, Happy also very conservative here. Town portaling out immediately. And I take back that this game is a disaster. Lin, like, it's so fascinating. They both didn't do much. Like, there wasn't much of a fight or anything. But now Lin's Expo is working. He can go up to 50. His tier 3 is at 2/3 or 3/4. And this is all looking a lot better all of a sudden.
Yeah, and although the TC does maybe seem a bit weird, it doesn't give you as much momentum into tier 2 as the Shadowhunter does. TC obviously scales a lot better. The higher level Stomp is going to be better than the higher level Heal Wave. The Aura is really, really good. So Lin's actually going to be stronger later on than if he had gone for Shadowhunter second.
True.
Happy still has a timing.
Especially since Happy is on Fiends, the TC will destroy them.
Yeah.
And we'll still get some healing later. Headhunters as addition now, as anti-air. Happy waiting for the orb. There we go. Can pick up a Dark Ranger, which he absolutely needs against the Storms. On the way. But Lin, will he shut the door again?
Happy has been so passive sitting in his base. He only moved out really that one time. And then he instantly TP'd. Now this is the timing. 60 supply. Lin's expansion pretty much finished 20-30 seconds ago. And tier 3's finishing. Shadowhunter on the way. Lin needs to grab orb. And he either holds here or he loses the game right here. It's going to come down to this timing from Happy.
The items are fantastic. Mana Stone, Orb, Double Claw, Wind of Mana Stealing, Invo Potion, a little bit of a Health Stone. What he doesn't have is Reinforced Defenses. He just queued the Shadow Hunter in time, so it still gets out before the burrow goes down. Here we go. We need the TC, we need the Storms. At the moment, the TC is silenced, but that will wear off in a second. And the position is great. The Blade Master's critting for 110 as well. But what about the fighting army? The Raiders are falling very quickly.
Stomps are good. The ghouls did get pretty good positioning, but the statues haven't been pressured at all. Shadowhunter's going to come in from the south in a second here. TC's surrounded. He has a stomp. He gets past the TP and popped out with a blade, but he has a TP away from the expansion. Peon should go off the gold mine so they live. But they don't. They're all going to go down.
And they will rise again as skeletons, which is then more damage. Wonderful, wonderful fight by Happy. Low ping, of course, favors him with his insane micro. Best in the world, best of all time. And again, Lin's tier 2 action doesn't work.
Yeah, very surprised. This build order is just strange, and it's being exploited now by Happy's 60 supply timing. Still not impossible. Lin has Tri-Hero. He has tier 3 now. He has improved War Drums. If he can hold and get some kills here, but no reinforced burrow, it means he has to fight.
And he doesn't want that. The health stone is gone already. Only a potion. Happy, satisfied with this. Killed 2 burrows and the expo. Doesn't want to lose more. Gets a wyvern on the way out. And now 20 food lead. A base up. Tech is the same. What's stopping Happy now?
Yeah, nice TP from Happy. He knows he can just play passive, creep, and then re-push later with 80 supply. He could easily creep up to 4-3-3. Take that whole right side of the map, get items, and then fight at what he knows is going to be another expansion from Lin. Lin has to re-expand, and it's going to be a tiny Great Hall. But then Happy can just do the same push, only with a bigger army now and in a couple minutes.
Yeah, von Vest, thank you for the sub. Yeah, this, hopefully for Lin, this goes undetected because he needs a lot of time. But why would Happy give him more time? In series versus Infield and series versus Fly, Happy tends to expand like 3-4 times and it becomes a crazy macro game for 35 minutes. Lin didn't want to go that route, and it also seems like Happy doesn't want to go that route. Creeps up a little bit. Invo potions everywhere because of course one way back is hero focus with soon to have Hex, Stomp and Snare, and the Blade Master focus. That's a lot of disable, it's a lot of damage. But will Happy give him that opportunity? Rather not.
Yeah, Happy didn't clear the upper right. You mentioned 3 bases. I wouldn't be surprised to see Happy take one soon, but it seems like Happy just wants to fight. He doesn't want to allow Lin to have a lot of time to creep up his heroes. Of course, Orc heroes are going to scale better in the super late game. This is going to be the next big fight, but still up by 20 supply, and the Shadowhunter is dead immediately.
What a nuke! No Invo Potion here. We got silence on both heroes as well. All clumped up. Destroyers in the air. Lin pretty much getting obliterated. He's trying to fight his way out now. The TC still having a potion, but then okay, I switch to the other hero. I do not care. Now more movement speed on Lin with that level 2 aura, but where's the fighting power?
It's in that blade that gets nuked down. The Shadowhunter, obviously being the 3rd hero, means there's no level 2 heal wave, and now it's dead. It's not going to have level 2 heal wave probably ever in this game. Happy knows exactly what's going on. He's going down to that tiny Great Hall. He knew Lin only had one option, and it's 70 against 49. Lin has to fight. He has to delay. He has to do something, but he really doesn't have the means to.
And of course, Happy scouted as always. Only commits what he needs to commit. 2 ghouls, stops the mining, stops Lin from catching up. He tried to play an economy-driven game with only being at 50 food, but with only 50 food, you can't really contest this army, and then Happy takes over, scouts, and obliterates.
Burrow goes down, still no reinforced. Lin's just never had the lumber, and level 3 on the Lich, almost level 4 on the Death Knight. Has a town portal that he can get out if he needs to. And Happy again, very safe, very conservative with this town portal. It's going to give Lin a little bit more space, but Happy just gets further and further ahead every time he uses one of these TPs.
Damn, dude, this is... Happy must have a subscription or flat rate for town portal these days. I saw him TP like 12 times versus Infi yesterday. And also versus Fly. Yeah, why not, man? It's only 325 if you lose a Fiend and a Ghoul that already makes up for it. We now get a TC with Cloak of Flames. I kind of love it. But will that turn the tides?
Yeah, the heroes are definitely good for Lin. That's one thing keeping him in these fights. If he can land the stomps, he's now finally 58 supply. The expansion is kind of mining for the time being. And is rebuilding his burrows. He's getting in Venom Spears. If he can get level 3 Shadow Hunter before Happy pushes again, maybe Lin can have a chance in this next fight, but it doesn't seem like Happy's going to give him any time at all. Next time Happy pushes this Expo, it's going to die.
And of course, Lin could go for a counterattack, but we saw earlier how protected that is. Banshee's in the mix for the curse, for even more damage mitigation. Lin doesn't have a TP, he cannot respond. And the towers are there. And how do you break them?
Happy's going to have to kill this Great Hall and get back. He doesn't want to lose all those Ziggurats right now. That would severely supply block him. So who's going to break first? Lin obviously cannot afford to go back, and he has no means to go back. And Happy is going to TP. Does he get the Great Hall kill? Calculation.
Ooh, got it last second. TC says hello with the stomp. Blade Master crits like crazy, but the Fiend's already there for the web. Raider is falling to the coil. One Fiend down. Another crazy stomp as everything is clumped up. But that was the second last one, and Lin is down to 50 again. The Nerup Tower is still up. Lin has no way out of this. No TP, no speed scroll. If you run, you're gonna die. Blade Master still doing lots of damage, but is also applied with the curse. He doesn't have mirror image, so he can debuff him. And I think this is, again, the disaster that we expected it to be after the early game.
Yeah, the stomps were good, but the army just wasn't there. 38 versus 70 supply. Lin, again, down to no expansion, and he's not going to be able to Tiny Great Hall again in this game. TC's on his way to level 5, but the stomps haven't really made the difference here. Happy's still on 70 supply. His expansion might not be fully saturated currently, but he's got 800 gold in the bank, and he's going to take another red camp now as well. Scouting everything in the meantime. I'm happy. There's no way out for Lin, it seems like, at this point.
On one base? Yeah, this is rough. Blade Master also far away from 5. TC 4.6, also far away from 5. And Happy can just expand like 7 times now.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't yet. I'm surprised we have not seen a third base. I suppose not a safe gold mine has been cleared yet. This upper left would mean he would have a safe spot to do it. But Lin, Creepjack on the hardest creep camp in the game.
Okay.
Could do it if anything's going to.
Oh, would love to see him steal this item. He got it! Okay, that was sweet. We got the big salamander dude, but that unfortunately can be nuked. Could have gotten a little bit of gold out of this. Happy punishes the theft immediately. But hey, a little bit of an exclamation point.
Yeah, and Happy just TPs again. He does not want to mess around here. He's just going to get out of there, gets the experience, and gets out. Again, you mentioned the value from a TP, 325 gold. He got that whole creep camp. Well worth that. Just get out before you lose anything. Why not? Super safe. He's scouting in the meantime. He knows he's super ahead.
Yeah, he can afford that with ease. He's constantly broke, but he's also investing into upgrades, items. It's all there the entire time. Lin fighting windmills here. Undead windmills. Has even issues killing a Banshee.
Kodo almost gets an eat. TC's in good position for Stomp, but a good position for Stomp is a good position to take a lot of damage. Kodo being focused. Lin's army is spread out and doing something, but not enough. GG, Happy pretty much dominates in game 1.
Right on, and from the get-go, Happy takes the first map, claims the first point for Mouse-Sports, and I gotta say, Lin out-strategized.
He kept it simple, Happy, right? He just expanded and played super passive and then hit his timing. Like, really simple.
Lin, you got shown who your daddy really is today. I don't know why... Like, there's so much game tape of other orgs defeating Happy on Lost Temple. I don't really understand why Lin is not going for that. Lame style, split harass, operating on 3 different screens, trying to get more town portals out. Like, even more than he already did, and drain the resources of Happy. I am a bit displeased by what Lin decided to do.
Yeah, like double bestiary, but not a single hit on the base. Obviously, double bestiary is more than just killing buildings. It gives you map control early because you get ensnare out with your first raider, and then you get your next 2 raiders, and before you know it, you have enough lockdown to force TPs and to kill the entire army at that stage in the game. That's what raiders can be good for, but they're also good for forcing TPs, like you mentioned. Like, he can counter expand for free by just base laning, and Lin didn't do that. He did some in-between strat of trying to counter expand and also trying to play super aggressive with mass raiders, but yeah, two in between, too many different things.
Right on. Laiku14 with the 5 gifted subs. You appreciated Happy's win. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I'm curious what Lin's pick is, and if he has free pick from all the other maps, or if they're bans. We don't really know that. We got freaking Secret Valley and Melting Valley in the pool. Freedom with the 5 gifties.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And Melting Valley, always known as a truly, truly awful undead map back in the day.
Yep.
It probably still is. But it'd be hilarious to see.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I mean, Happy will be prepared. Like, if there's a chance he has to play on Secret Valley, Melting Valley, he probably played like 100 hours in the past week on these maps to figure out the perfect creep route and the perfect timing. Because he's a pro, and that's what he does. And Lin... maybe he just goes for Hammerfall and trying to play Mass Air. Very hard to say what's going on.
With a comfort pick. Yeah, there's a few comfy maps, right? Like there's Hammerfall, there's Springtime, there's Tidehunters. You know, Twisted Meadows maybe could be a comfort pick. I wonder who's more familiar with Warhail, or if that just gets vetoed right away.
Dude, I want to see Warhail, man. I want to see Warhail. I played it once, and it was really, really cool. It was really interesting. A bit of a... like, can I say that? Is it a mix of Terrana Stand and Secret Valley? That's kind of how it felt.
Terrana Stand and Secret Valley.
Yeah.
Some people would be terrified to hear those words.
Yeah, that's right. And I got, like, my base got backstabbed with a ship that was, like, that caused nightmare for me.
Warcraft 2.
Pretty much, without the oil.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks like on the screen now, Lin is gigantic.
It's almost like a fisheye lens angle.
Someone in chat was asking, where's that fighting windmills from? It's from Don Quixote.
Oh,
you uneducated fool. Read that book, it's really good.
Oh, okay. Noted. All right. What are they figuring out right now, I wonder? Certainly they've already done vetoes?
Yeah,
or
maybe.
Did they veto after the determined first map? I forget how the order of things are. You think they do them in the first place?
I think so too. In my opinion, it should just be loser's pick. Don't do any bans. Just loser's pick.
True.
But Lin was shaking his head there as if something happened that he didn't expect.
Yeah, the grunt getting surrounded obviously hurts a lot in the early game. Was that the thing that really forced him off course, I wonder? Would he have done something different if he keeps that third grunt alive? He was scouting with it, to be fair. Like, he was risking it. He's up against DK with Aura. Just Peon Scout. It's Lost Temple. Peon Scout, Lin.
Or, you know, mirror image. Freaking mirror image!
Yeah. Why not? Pull the golem at the shop. Easy.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Lin's strategy when he tried to implement the Tauren Batrider style. Recently, I gotta say, with going back to Mass Wyvern, I can understand it. Not the flashiest play in the world. I disagree with Lin more and more.
There's only one thing that hasn't been tried versus Happy, and it's Mass Witch Doctors.
Yeah, probably true. You think that is the solution?
I think it's pretty good in Orkmere these days. I'll say that much.
Yeah. The Kush is pretty strong these days, huh?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, big time, buddy.
Like,
Mirror image, though, I think is a must.
I think so too, especially on LAN. You think 120 should be in the camera frame giving some advice? Or Infi, even?
What do you say? I mean, you'd really have to hear from Lin what he was thinking. Like, how much of that was a predetermined plan? How much of that was him just like, oh, I didn't get the center camp. Oh, I lost a grunt. Oh, I didn't get a good spawn versus your expo. I guess I'll just try this. And how much of it was, this is exactly what I'm going to do on Lost Temple versus Happy. If it was the latter, then I would say that was just a bad plan. But if it was the former, then it's like, okay, bad early game, move on, sort of deal,
I guess. He did try to come back on like 3 different occasions, but Happy slept it all down. He knows plan A, B, C, D. Comes so well prepared. And of course, scouting information was always great. Huh? Lin?
Town portal usage, so good from Happy that game.
So good. Be careful, dude. Soon people will accuse you of being a Happy fanboy. Carson is pointing out over Happy's play when you just double clicks on a TP. What a god. And people make songs out of it,
Yeah, coil 100 HP grunt.
There you go.
That's a funny meme, though. That is hilarious.
It's true. It is true. Nobody does it better. Sushine, thank you for the 16-month.
No, I'm a huge Lin fanboy. I think Lin is the greatest player of all time, so don't worry. There's no risk of that, everybody.
You think Lin is the greatest player of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Over Happy?
Yep.
Why?
You have to be an Orc player to understand, Neo.
Oh, so it's sympathy. So you vote with your heart, not with your brain.
Yes, it's true.
Okay,
it's true.
okay. With that, I see that.
Objectively, Happy's the best. Yeah.
It depends what your metric is. Like, if you include longevity, I don't think Happy is the GOAT.
If you longevity, Lin is looking better in that case.
I guess Lin has the best longevity of them all. Over Moon these days, even.
He's always been the best Orc. Like, even when Grubby was in the picture, even when Zakar was in the picture, I want to say, he was still...
Chat is gonna yell at you, Carson. Chat is gonna yell at you.
I think even Grubby would admit that him and Lin were pretty neck and neck at their peak.
He already did. He already said Lin is better.
Yeah.
But his followers don't listen.
Like Fly over Grubby, I wouldn't say that. There was times, obviously, Fly was the best Orc in the world for a while there. But when Lin's active, I feel like Lin's always been close number 2 or number 1.
100%. My pick for the GOAT is Infi.
Yeah, reasonable.
Longevity.
It's been so long since we've seen him at his peak, though, it feels like.
Right.
But he's been good the whole time, to be fair.
When he dominated WGL and won all 3 gold tournaments in 1 year, that was peak. That was Infi's peak. And that was GOAT.
That was crazy. Like, it was weird because with Happy, with like the Happy era, you just always expect him to win everything. It's kind of a different feeling. But with the Infi era, it felt like you were never quite sure if he was going to win, but then he would just show up and dominate everyone. It was like a different feeling somehow. I don't know how to explain it exactly.
Yeah, I agree. For me,
Happy
Infi has it all.
Same old day. Yeah.
Same old day. Infi has the longevity, was active with World Elite in WC3L, was of course winning WCGs, which of course Happy can't really say, so he won when Warcraft was at its peak. He then carried the torch in 2014-15 as well, then also dominating in 2019, and it's still around-ish today. For me, the GOAT discussion goes to Infi. But
yeah, I think he's still a top 10 player, probably, maybe top 12.
True. I do respect other opinions though, because in the GOAT discussion, everybody has different metrics. For some, it's more the longevity or legendary status. For some, it's peak performance, which I would always give to Happy. Like the best Warcraft that was ever played at any time was Happy. But if you mix this all together and the way I weight it, it's Iffy.
Could somebody say, is it possible for somebody to say 1-2-0? Or is that too tricky with how him and Happy have overlapped and Happy's always been ahead? Is there any way you could argue 1-2-0 for that small era he had before Happy was number one? Don't think so. Even though 1-2-0 is like, he's been like top 3 in the world for like 10 years.
That's right. I think he's not in the pool because he doesn't have the longevity. He wasn't active in like 2009 or whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
And then after his rise, he was so quickly overshadowed by Happy.
Yeah.
That's why he isn't named too often.
Yeah, we just need 5 more years of Kaho, and then we'll be talking about him.
But I love to see that we are not as angry at each other as the StarCraft scene is with their GOAT discussion. Especially with the Artosis Rogue take. That was outrageous.
In Brood War, it's just Flash, though.
Yeah. And that's I guess that's
I guess some people would say Bisu, maybe, but I think, or Stork, but I think it's got to be Flash. I don't know about SC2, though. I'm not as familiar.
Yeah, me neither. I just repeat what other people say on the internet without any education.
Very based.
What do we got here? Cartoon V Warcraft 3, €5. Sorry, but Moon is the best overall, and I only play Orc.
Debatable, but
yeah,
fair.
Definitely debatable. I think lots of his prize money come from tournaments where he was seeded in the final already because of previous achievements. He had the flashiest plays and he had some crazy dominance. But I don't know, man. That dominance faded in a way, and he was too often outshadowed by other people to be my GOAT.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a few options, like Happy, Lin, Infi, and I think Moon is in the discussion too. I don't know how many more players are in the discussion, to be honest, other than those guys, really.
Yeah, it's like the top 3 for me are very clear. It's Happy, Lin, Infi.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do a Mount Rushmore, you got like 12 options for a 4th place, and they're all valid.
Yeah, all the old school picks, obviously. There's so many great players. Like, I think it's the card. You know, it doesn't have the longevity, but at the time was so good.
He was so good. You could make a case.
Sky, we've seen him today.
Sky, obviously. But then he doesn't have the longevity because he's quit playing in 2009 or 8 or whatever. Yeah. But peak performance Sky, and also if you count in the effect what Sky did for esports, Chinese esports basically exist because Sky wins WCG. Before, there wasn't really much, and then things, no pun intended, skyrocketed. And Moon didn't have the same for Korea. And while Grubby is a great streamer, of course, now, and a lot of people know him, the effect on European esports is limited by the fact that we moved on and mostly became a Counter-Strike region. So, effect on esports as a whole, Sky is by far the most meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of players from that era, too. I don't know if you can say TH. I wish you could say. Like, I want to be able to say TH, but, like, he just doesn't have that consistency. As good as he was at his peak.
I agree.
What a great era, though, when there was the debate between who was better between Infi and TH, and they're just both so good.
It was so
such
sick.
A cool era. Is Sky rich? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's like Scrooge McDuck, dude. Swimming in his money. Who had the biggest peak? That's is that that's hard, man. The biggest peak is either Moon in like 2006, Sky in 2005, Happy nowadays, or Infi 2020.
Yeah, because it's hard. Do you go with like what the achievements were for that small period, or do you go with like just what the eye test was? Because I would almost say 120, peak 120, when he was truly the best in the world, was probably like the highest skilled Warcraft, like the highest potential we maybe ever saw, except for just Happy is it's you can always win the debate by just saying but Happy, but I do think 120, his peak performance when he's at his very best is some of the best Warcraft ever. But it's hard to say because there's so many factors you could go into. It's like, let's look at every tournament from a 3-month period and see, which is probably just Happy though at the end of the day.
Speaking of Happy, we're going back to Xi'an. Are every technical difficulties solved? Dude, we're online for 3 hours, 45 minutes, and we casted 3 maps.
Yeah, and one of them was a 3 militia tower rush.
There we go. But it seems like they're gaming. All that debating heavily in like a chat room.
Yeah, true. They're just making Reddit posts. So here we are.
Oh, yeah! Map number 2 is Twisted Meadows. We, again, have a macro map here. It is Lin trailing. That score is definitely wrong at the Timothy top because it was Happy winning game number 1 if he didn't get disqualified, which we don't know. But here we go. Lin, bottom left-hand side. Happy, upper right-hand side. It is cross position, Twisted Meadows. Let's go.
Can be quite a good map for Orc. You can force it into the late game. It's not the easiest map to do a fast expansion on. I do wonder if it's going to be a Farseer. I would expect a Blade. Very, very common on this map. Could also see Mirror Image on this map. We saw him do this against 120 to deny the expansion. And it is with an early War Mill. This is looking very much like Blade Mirror Image, Neo.
Yes! He's listening. That's why it took so long. Lin was tuning in to the Back to Warcraft broadcast saying, what are the boys saying? They got great ideas. They got a great strategic mind that just suck at playing. But I'm going to pick their brain and see what they say and then apply it and then own.
Yes. 100%. People should listen to us more often.
That's right. Sub to the channel and check out backtowarcraft.com/support for all the ways to support us.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. What's Happy doing? Looks like a clean DK Ghoul opener. Question here is, will Happy fast expand as well? Because he did that in the past and was either dominating or hard countered. It's a very fine line between those two extremes.
Yeah, it's no lost temple certainly, but Happy's going to go for it nonetheless. Lin, is he going to creep anything? Did go for Windwalk, by the way, and isn't creeping anything to get level 2. What he did against 120 expanded on Twisted Meadows is he crept with Windwalk and then had level 2 when he went for the harass and then skilled Mirror Image on reaction. But Lin, for now, is getting a circlet, sells the TP, and is going to start creeping. He's saying the Grunt to scout again. This is how it got surrounded on Lost Temple.
Oh boy. I wonder if he had a wrong read, because Happy is switching up his expo positions between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. So you gotta gamble a little bit, and maybe that gamble went a bit south here. Blade Master is so far away, unable to harass.
He does get an item, but of course Happy's getting more experience and the better item right now. Lin walks over to snag another one. Grunt still scouting. Lin should be able to guarantee himself the next item, but he's not getting the double slippers he was hoping for.
Not really, no. Circlet and Cloak. And now he's kind of hurt. The headhunters are trickling in. This looks pretty good for Happy again, I gotta say. He just takes the early games.
Yeah, maybe Lin realizes, it seems like from these last 2 games at least, that he can't really do anything to the expansion. He doesn't want to try to harass it because Happy defends too well, maybe, is what Lin's going to say. So he's just trying to creep items. Imagine if he did get triple slippers. This would be a much different game we're talking about right now, but he hasn't gotten the best items, nor a ton of experience. Happy's going to be level 3 first.
I wonder if your grunt scouts that the expansion is bottom right and you're not around, should you just windwalk rush into the base and try to kill acolytes there?
It would be open, and there'd be no Nerubian. If he had a speed scroll, I'd say for sure, because then you can guarantee a kill. But without a speed scroll, I don't know if you get an acolyte kill. It's maybe worth experimenting with, though.
Right, we got a faster tier 2 tech for Lin, and then again we gotta raise the question, what do you do with the tier 2? Even a Firelord push isn't completely out of the equation. It could be a tier 2 expansion again, it could also be a tier 3 rush this time. And we did find our slippers, and we are getting the mirror image.
Yeah, happy with a perfect skeleton scout as always. Sees where the blade is going to go creep. He knows he wants to pull a golem. He probably assumes Merc camp, but Happy just runs straight down to the bottom right. He knows exactly where Lin is somehow.
This guy is so crazy. Can he get a surround off? Doesn't really look that way. The ghouls are coming in, and headhunters are of course too fragile. Also ensnared. Oh, this is Lin being a little unlucky so far. This headhunter will definitely go down. Can he get the return kill? Doesn't look like it. The DK with level 3 already and an expo 5 minutes in.
Very tough for Lin. He's going to lose a second headhunter. One ghoul will fall eventually, but Happy is totally fine right now. Then Shadowhunter's on the way out. Wait, is there no... He didn't expand.
Oh, true. He teched.
Oh, we're just out of our minds. He just never expanded. He just had an acolyte there and crept it, and had a sack skull and just didn't expand. Okay.
What?
All right.
Why? Is he not comfortable expanding against the Blade Master on Twisted?
Seemed like everything he was doing lined up with an expansion, but no, he just didn't. Did Lin scout that? I wonder. Does he know?
Good question.
Because the Grunt went into the main base and scouted. There was no tech, but then Happy tech pretty much right after.
Oh,
I wonder. I would have to go back and watch. I don't know. Did he cancel the gold mine? Was this super tricky? Maybe we just missed it entirely. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and watch.
Chat says the Grunt chased the Echo back to the main. And then he couldn't. Oh, that's sick. And now we have this interesting situation where we have headhunters on the field, and you want to play Dark Ranger against that, but Lin can pivot to Wyvern, and then the Dark Ranger sucks. So I think the mind games for Lin are working out.
Yeah, very interesting early game for sure. It seemed like it was going so well for Happy, but we were just assuming he had an expo behind this, but no, sir. He goes for it, but Lin should have all the information in the world with Mirror Image, and he's just going to power creep with that Shadowhunter. Happy's going to get some nice items, but the Dark Ranger, of course, to find value, as you mentioned, needs to find these headhunters, and he's only found the 2 kills so far.
I agree. Sobi Mask on both sides, lots of mana, lots of spells, good for the game, good for our entertainment. We do have reinforced defenses this time. Oh, Dark Ranger says hello, but heal wave first. The classic Lin creep skill tree build thingy. We don't have a TP. Speed scroll though. Engagement. Oh, if only he had Hex here.
Yeah, he was very close to getting it, but he needs one more ghoul kill and solo experience for that. Almost tier 3 for Happy and about to be finished for Lin. Shadowhunter will get level 2. The Wind Rider is going to make things very confusing for Happy. He does not know what Lin's going into, but it's looking just more like standard Berserker Kodo, maybe a couple Raiders with Tri-Hero. Looking very much like a standard game with just some late, halfway through tier 3 tech expansion for Happy.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you go into Wyvern when you see that your opponent has a Dark Ranger?
True. There's still time yet, I suppose.
But he's doubling down on Headhunters, or is it just the upgrade? It's just the upgrade, right?
Yes.
Thank you for the sub, Pre! Legendary Counter-Strike caster from Germany still tuning in. Love to see it.
Okay. More creeping. Of course, right now Lin is scaling a lot better because Dark Ranger high level, not as good as Lich high level. Unless, it is good against Headhunters for sure, but not as good as a level 3, level 5 Lich. And will Lin know about that late expansion from Happy? I don't think he scouted it just yet, but there's no reason he shouldn't be able to reveal or send an illusion. And then he'll have to probably grab a Tiny himself.
Yeah. I agree. And look at this Blade Master inventory, my dude. Slippers, boots, hail pot, circlet. This is looking good. TC is out as well. What's the gold count saying? 200. Not enough for the tiny yet, but doesn't necessarily need it now, as Happy is lining up a timing anyway. And if he would have expanded there, then the Happy timing would be great. But do you want to fight or do you want to disengage?
I don't think I like this fight for Happy. The Shadowhunter really close to level 3. TC's out with Stomp the Blade, super stacked, and 1 kill away from level 4. I don't think Lin wants this, or I don't think Happy rather wants this right now, but Lin backs away.
Okay, army not online yet as it seems. By the way, great sub by Alexa, play music now. I hope this happened in like 1,000 households around the world.
Creeping for Blade 4, for Shadowhunter 3. The longer the game goes, the better it is for the Orc. This tends to be how it is. But Lin needs to equal up the economy. Does he know about it yet? I'm just not sure. This is such an unorthodox expansion timing, especially for Happy, that Lin might not be 100% certain.
Yeah, you can't play one base for long. Lin, what's he spending his gold on? Upgrades? We're back, everybody. Sorry for the hiccup. Sorry for the problems. I hope we didn't miss anything. And I hope that Carson is still on the call with me. Or again. Nope, not back yet. What did I miss? No expansion by Lin yet, but the Tiny is in and Carson is back too. What did we miss?
Hello. Just creeping. There was one fight towards the red camp, which Lin lost. And they've just been creeping ever since. And just like that, Happy's 78 against 45 supply. That's what you missed.
Oh my god. A 30 food lead for Happy is not looking great. Lots of destroyers online. If they lose mana, they will lose a lot of value. But Lin can't engage right now.
Yeah, it's tough. He's trying to get an expansion up at that bottom left, but Happy has had that expo for just too long now. He had it before tier 3 was even done. It's been mining for at least 4 or 5 minutes at this point. Just too much gold.
Oh my god, it's not looking good. Blade Master is powerful, but also rather squishy. The heal potion is gone already. Double crit. Okay, we need that Sane Sword now to somehow save Lin and Team World Elite in the opening match of the Clan War. Ooh, but whatever Happy focuses just goes down.
Yeah, the DK's items are ridiculous as well. So much mana. Blade dead. GG and 2-0.
Wow. Owned him. Owned him. Twice in a row.
Pretty much. Yup.
Happy played according to his standards. And Lin, strategic mistakes twice in a row, I think.
Yeah, definitely just not accounting for the expansion either time, losing to pretty much a timing both times. And Happy just played it really straight up. Easy peasy. And this win brought to you by Mouz Sports, everybody.
There we go. Happy looks like he's still playing something. Maybe he queued ladder immediately.